जिस्मान ऑडियो चेक है, आपको आवाज आ रही है?
जी सर, आवाज क्लियर है।
इनकी बैकग्राउंड वॉइस है।
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? Hello, hello.
जी, we can, Rai sab, we can hear you.
All right. Okay, lovely.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone, for joining in. Can I please request the panelists to keep their videos on and the others to please keep their videos off? Thank you so much for joining in. A few, intro house rules. Just keep in mind that it's running through an internet connectivity. So in case there is any issue, just bear with us. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. It's a pleasure to have everybody on board, such an auspicious group of talent from the industry. So just to start off, let me just go through a quick intro. The Insurance Association of Pakistan is actually celebrating the Insurance Week from the 7th to 11th of February 2022. There have been various activities that have been, lined up, chalked up in different cities across Pakistan to create the awareness and the importance of insurance across various dimensions in the insurance domain. So today's webinar primarily is the first activity in this regard, and it's jointly organized by CxO Global Forum and IAP Regional Committee North. So, first, a big thank you to the organizers for having everybody else around here, around the table to actually have a session, to have a discussion on, the industry, and primarily the topic being the InsurTech impact on the industry in Pakistan. So, I would just quickly go through a small intro about the panelists, and I'll request each of them to give a little bit brief about themselves. So primarily, we've got panelists who belong to different, areas and different dimensions within the insurance ecosystem, starting from, the incumbent insurers. I've got Hisham over here, who represents the incumbent space. Then we've got Tahir Ahmed Saab, who is actually representing, the digital insurers or neo insurance companies space. And we also have Siptain Jivani, who, one of the first aggregators in Pakistan, digital distribution. And he's representing from that space. And I've got Umair Khalid from the health tech space within Pakistan. So I'll actually go around the table. I'll just request each of the esteemed panelists to give a small intro about themselves. And once we're done with the intros, I'll just quickly go through the topic of the day, a little bit of an, kind of an intro around, what InsurTech is all about, and then we go into, specific discussions with the panelists. So we'll start with Tahir Ahmed Saab. First, yourself. Can I request you to please unmute yourself and give us a little bit of a, intro about yourself?
Sure. Thank you very much, Numan. It's a pleasure to be on this webinar. Basically, currently what I'm doing is that I'm the founder, co-founder, and the CEO of First Digital Takaful. Our commercial brand is Cover Low, and currently we are operating under the SECP regulatory sandbox. Our experiment has been accepted to be successful. Testing has been pretty successful. And now we are just waiting for the new rules for the digital insurer to be notified. The moment they're notified, we will inshallah plan to register ourselves there. My background is, some of you would know that I've been associated with the insurance industry for the last more than 40 years. The 15 of them have been as the CEO of the Jubilee General. I was also, for a number of times, I think at least 4 times, I was the IAP chairman during my tenure between 2004 and 2019. I was also the PII chairman many times during that tenure. What I really like to be known for is that basically not known for, basically that's my passion. My passion has been to do something to increase the penetration of insurance amongst the buying masses, not just the corporations. And for that, I had been working at various levels. And ultimately, I thought in 2014 that e-commerce presents us a very good opportunity to, to reach out to as many individuals as possible, because all over the world, basically, the proportion of the personal lines insurance is almost like 44% of the total insurance. And in Pakistan here, if we take pure personal line insurance and include also the consumer financed, the financed autos, it won't be more than 6-7% of the total insurance premium. Those cars and those people who buy insurance in their individual names. And I always felt that insurance has social connotations, and it can be used by an individual, especially somebody who's a youngster who's starting in their career, or even those who've got small families. And well, anybody can really use it, but the tool of insurance is not utilized by the individuals for maintaining their lifestyle. And I think insurance or takaful can play a very important role there. So in 2014, we started that from the platform of Jubilee General Insurance, the online sales of digital personal lines insurances. In the whole year, it was just 100 or so policies in 2014. But by the time I retired in 2019, it was a number of thousands. So Alhamdulillah, it showed that it can be done, but it was more of a hybrid system there. And what I saw was that being part of a huge, big organization, you really cannot, first of all, give full attention to the digital aspect. And secondly, you cannot use their best resources for digital purposes, because they are more inclined to do, insurance industry has their own model. Every insurance company has their model. They have a head of operations, they have a head of reinsurance. So it's very difficult to get one of the best of the insurance guys to run the digital operation. So
Sure.
That's what I felt. So here I am. I think I've taken a long time to introduce myself, but that was the idea behind setting up this company.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tarsab. And I'll now take the liberty of reaching out to Mr. Hisham, who is heading consumer retail business as well as northern region operations within IGI, and maybe many other areas that he's looking at as well. He's an very, very dear colleague as well. So he represents us from the incumbent insurance space. So Hisham, if you could just give us a little intro about yourself, please.
Thank you, Numan. First of all, on behalf of the Regional Committee North of IAP, I would like to welcome the worthy panelists and our dear audience on joining us today on this very important topic, which is futuristic in its context. So about me, my name is Mohammed Hisham, and I work as regional head at IGI Insurance, and I also look after the retail business at IGI. And apart from that, I look after the business side of our tracking and telematics division, which is branded as IGI Drive. I've been associated with the insurance industry from last 20 years, and I have been working as the chairman of IAP North and also as vice chairman, and I had the honor of working with Mr. Tahir Ahmed during my tenure as chairman of Lahore Insurance Institute. And I think the topic that we are touching today is of great significance. And I hope that we'll have a great debate today on various things related to InsurTech.
Great, Hisham. Thank you so much for the intro. Siptan, I'll reach out to you now. A very well-known personality within the distribution space, within the insurance industry. Siptan, tell us a little bit about yourself, an intro about yourself for everybody else's favor.
Thank you, Numan. Thank you, everyone. It's great to be here. जितना ताहिर साहब का experience है, उतना मेरी age भी नहीं है. So I'm really honored to be here. So just to give you a background, I did my education from England. I did my bachelor's from there. Then I moved back to Pakistan in 2008, and I started working for a financial technology company, which they operate in the payments and cards space. So I was working with banks and telcos for Visa, MasterCard on those sides of things, जिसे आज हम digital banking कहते हैं. So I worked in that, and in 2015 I wanted to jump on do my own thing, and wanted to get into the marketplace of insurance and financial products. And the idea really came from when I was in England. I was studying there. So वहाँ पर there were a lot of these aggregators who would help you find a credit card, insurance, and just make your life easier. And obviously, as Tahir Saab said, the personal lines की जो insurance की जो demand थी या जो distribution थी वो काफी ज़्यादा थी, and everyone had to buy some kind of insurance, be it regulatory reasons or be it for your own purpose. So I was quite accustomed to insurance at a very young age of 22, 23, and I knew how these policies work. So when I moved back to Pakistan, I couldn't find anything. All these insurance companies had few of them had a call center. Most of them was operating on the agent model, where you had to get in touch with an agent to find a policy for yourself. So, and to 2014, if I'm not mistaken, 3G, 4G launched at that time. So that was the real, for the reason when I decided, yeah, I should build a platform for this, and that's where really Smart Choice began. So we've been doing it for 5 years. We are in a marketplace for individual insurance products. So Gadi, travel, health, and we also do group health insurance. So yeah, we've been doing for 5 years. We're trying to make an impression on this on the population, and I'm glad to be here and share my views and thoughts and learn from everyone else here.
Great, Siptan. Thank you so much. Umair, a little bit about yourself as well. Please give us an intro about yourself. Thank you.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's good to be here with such an amazing audience and moderator as well. So I started off my career with Telenor Pakistan back in 2006, and I worked there till March 2015. And I joined Milvik Bima. At that time, I was the second employee, and we started off with 20 agents with the mindset to bring micro insurance and affordable products to the people of Pakistan. And and then I joined in 2020 Planet Tense Venture Wada Digital Insurance as one of their co-founders.
Umair, we can't hear you. Yeah, sorry, we can't hear you, Umair. We lost you there.
Now, okay, now you can hear me?
Better.
Okay, yeah. So we've just partnered up with Jazz and EFU, and hopefully by end of this month or early next month, we'll be going live with a health tech and a micro insurance product with Jazz.
Great. Thank you so much for the intro, Umair. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I'll just take a few minutes of yours before we actually get into the panel discussion, and give us give the audience a little bit of an intro around what the InsurTechs are doing around the globe. A little bit about myself as well. I've been working in the industry for around 22 years now, and most recently doing my own startup on the InsurTech space, and primarily in the B2B space, B2B2C, and also D2C space. So from the InsurTech's areas of focus, what you will find around the globe, and these are some of the points that we will be discussing today as well, because it's important to understand where the technology relevant interaction is present in Pakistan today. So from the areas of focus perspective, what you would see around the world, you will see many companies looking at opportunities to enhance the efficiencies within different processes of the incumbent insurers, primarily value chain efficiencies. You will also find, InsurTechs focusing on, looking into enabling the core ERP platforms to do better or do more than what they're doing, in their traditional way of doing business. In some other areas, you would find distribution flexibilities. What Umair is doing, what Siptain is doing, in terms of alternative distributions of spreading out the word, creating the awareness, and also increasing the size of the pie. You would find some of the InsurTechs working on the product side as well, and they're busy creating new products. The likes of Lemonade of this world are really much, really product centric, and they're developing stuff around the products. Then you would find InsurTechs driving, activities to drive or to build new markets. Primarily this is driven by looking away from the traditional distribution, and doing something different that creates the opportunity to develop a new market in around the insurance ecosystem. One of the things that the InsurTechs are also looking at are not overlooking the traditional distribution, but they are enabling the traditional distribution to do more. So it's very easy to say that it's all great to be technologically driven and do everything 100% tech driven way, but it's not really easy to implement that, because you have deep rooted traditional distribution that sits within the ecosystem, and the best way of approaching this situation is to be part of that, or bring them to be part of this journey. So enabling the traditional distribution is one of the other areas that InsurTechs are looking at. Then you have the likes of the neo insurance companies, the likes of Tahir Saab's venture, where it's a completely digital insurance company that works towards doing end-to-end everything digital. You have players doing AI and ML related work. And then, one of the most exciting bits, and that's very close to my heart as well, is where, insurance is being positioned as part of the lifestyle journey of any customer. And that is what open insurance or embedded insurance is all about. So, these are some of the areas that you'll come across when you come across InsurTechs, discussions around InsurTechs, what they do, and how they're impacting the insurance ecosystem. And some of them are available in Pakistan. A lot of them are available elsewhere, but it's a mixed bag that you'll come across. So keeping that in mind, I will take the liberty to sort of start off the conversation, primarily because we're talking about change, we're talking about doing something different. I would like to sort of start off the conversation with Hisham, and I want to discuss around from the insurance incumbent space or the traditional insurance company space. How are you viewing InsurTechs from there? Are you looking at them as an opportunity to grow stuff, or are you looking at them as a threat to doing your day-to-day business? So Hisham, let's start with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Numan. I think definitely InsurTech is not a threat, but definitely an enabler for us to do our day-to-day business. Now, as we know that most of the insurance companies, they are relying on the legacy IT systems. And in those legacy IT systems, there has been a real issue in kind of interacting with the new systems and developing APIs, developing all sort of interconnectivities. So once this InsurTech space is enabled, I think this will help insurance sector as a whole to grow, because right now the distribution system as a whole is, as you said in your earlier remarks, and as Tarsab also mentioned, it's more dependent on the agents. And when we bring in technology, it's not that the agent is replaced by technology, but it is that you enable the agent, you enable the distribution system. So I think there is nothing to be afraid of. I think it is going to only increase the penetration for insurance companies. It is going to just bring more ease for them, both in terms of hiring probably less human resources for data entry. And right now, a lot of redundancies are there in the entire system. So I think overall InsurTech is going to enable insurance companies, both in terms of increasing their distribution footprint and also enabling them to increase the speed of service.
Great. Thank you so much, Hisham. I think one of the key things that you have highlighted in that remark is to do with sort of working together and finding opportunities in which you actually are using the InsurTech players as enablers to the change. And I think this brings us to another exciting conversation, and this is directed towards yourself, Tarsab. Hisham mentioned around technology, Hisham mentioned around redundancies. You're building the insurer of the future. And I strongly believe it's not for the faint-hearted. And it requires a complete refocus on how you build the new organization. So, keeping that in mind, how do you plan to build a digital insurer in Pakistan?
Well, the most important, first of all, Numan, lovely introduction. It was very enlightening. And of course, what Hisham said, it's always been a pleasure working with Hisham. The whole thing about this is an ecosystem. Sorry, are you with me? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Basically, the challenge here, as far as the digital insurance is concerned, are not as much as delivering the product, because that one can do easily with the help of technology, and that's not a problem. People have their tablets, they have their laptops, they have their desktops, and you can deliver the product. You can provide them with claim service as well online, no problem there also. But the major challenge of developing this kind of what I have come across are two major challenges. One is that overall, even as we speak, the trust within the insurance companies, somehow or the other, on the part of the individual, is very low. And that probably is not true just for Pakistan, perhaps true for all over. So that is the first challenge we have to overcome as a digital insurer. Second is that there is, in order to build your name, you have to build your brand, and that is the second major challenge. And the third is building the ecosystem. Now, no digital insurer, in my opinion, can operate without an ecosystem. By ecosystem, I mean the system which has insurer as one part, the perhaps the telemedicine and the hospitals on the other part, and the experts of, who can talk about wellness, and they're all somehow they have to be brought onto one platform like is happening in the rest of the world. I think that's where the real challenge will come, and that's where the technology will also have to be improved to the level where artificial intelligence will play a very important role, where just in time underwriting will take place. And for that, basically what we need is not an insurer. Basically it has to be an IT company. So I keep telling my partners and some of the people with whom I'm working, that don't consider yourself as an insurer. We have to think like a digital company. The products will come because as you engage with the clients, new products will automatically evolve, and sometimes you can also throw in your own new product. So you can have new products, you can have products digitally underwritten just in time. But for that, in order to able to do that, you need a lot of data, you need a complete ecosystem, which in my opinion at this point of time in Pakistan is a little, not a little, quite a bit of a challenge. So that's where I think the real challenge lies. Otherwise, I think Pakistanis are ripe for selling insurance on digital platforms. The only reason why personal lines is not sold by the traditional insurers is their model of agents, because agents basically subsist on the commission income, not as much on their monthly incomes. So they're small ticket items. So for them to talk to the client or to visit a client or to sell a digital product, a personalized product, is very expensive. That is why I think digitally that should be it should be the easy thing to do. What we have seen is that people buy our product once they get to know of it. They just go onto our website, they see what are the exclusions, and they're able to buy. We sold about 3,000 plus policies in about 6 months. And what we've seen is that more than 95% are the first time users. So first time users mean that we are also helping build the financial inclusion. And the most interesting thing is that those guys who are buying, 80% of those are 18 to 34, 35 years old. They're not even in their 40s, or you tend to think that they'll be in their 40s or 50s, but basically they are in their in their 20s or early 30s who are buying these policies. So basically we are moving towards a situation where ultimately we'll have to have a complete ecosystem, and for that we need to have a very strong IT, and we need to have partners who are strong in IT. We have to think of insurance not just as insurance, but also as an IT company. And that's, I think, where the major challenge lies. And that's where I think the building a new organization is going to be a challenge. You have to have those kind of people. This is what I think. Yeah.
Great insights. And I think you talked about one of the most important things in this conversation, and that's to do with the ecosystem. And I think, that ecosystem will eventually need to evolve. I strongly personally believe that the sooner the incumbents, enable themselves to be part of a wider ecosystem, the sooner the penetration is going to increase. So, Satan, this particular question is for you, and since you are part of the ecosystem, which has in a creative way, in a different way, tried to expand the reach of insurance products. So tell us a little bit about the challenges you came across. Like, for example, Tahir Saab was mentioning about some of the challenges. Tell us something about the challenges you came across when you started the operations, and how do you think things are different today? And again, keep the ecosystem in mind.
Right. Well, when we started, a couple of years ago, it was news to the insurance company that there could be someone who would come to us and say that, oh, I'll sell your products, I'll sell your personal line products, because they've heard insurance brokers doing that for them for corporate lines, for commercial products, but never for personal lines, and it was always agent based. And I remember meeting Tahir Saab, a couple of years ago when Jubilee, as you mentioned about, the Jubilee initiative about digital insurance, and it was quite heartening to see that Jubilee was already doing what we wanted to do, because we wanted to sign up insurance companies as many as we could, and Jubilee was the first one to shake hands, to really sit down with us, give us the APIs, give us the way it's done, train us on the products. So Jubilee was there, was the first one to really shake hands, but I think every other insurance company was really not on board. They were seeing us as a threat. Obviously, things have changed really today. It's no longer the same. They want to work with us. Previously, they thought that this will hurt their traditional channels, their existing agent channels. They thought that this will not grow that much. So why should we support it? People are not looking online, and they really missed the opportunity, because they were missing the opportunity because 3G, 4G, as I said, came to Pakistan, and at that time we had about 5-6 million internet users, and today we have 100 million internet users. So 95 million users have actually gone online in the last 5 years. And I think a lot of insurance companies did not see that coming. Maybe their approach at third parties was not open to them, because they've never worked in the past with such companies. What today has happened is that it has definitely improved. Insurance companies want to talk to us, they want to sit down and understand what these customers want. However, I still think there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and especially I think a lot of people think that it is all about distribution, but I think it is less about distribution and it is more about customer service and claims. Because distribution is never going to be completely digital. Like Pakistan, we've still got a lot of catching up to do. Look at e-commerce. E-commerce came to Pakistan in 2013, 12. Daraz launched. Home shopping was there. A lot of these companies. It took them 8 years, 9 years, where now people are saying, okay, I'll buy something online, make a payment online, and wait for 3 days for the product to come at my home. And imagine, would that happen for insurance? It's not going to happen for insurance immediately, but it can happen if you work on the customer service side. Initially, e-commerce was really loved and hated. People liked it initially, but then they hated it because there were a lot of refund issues, there were a lot of fake product issues. And then these e-commerce players had to work on making sure that the processes was really so good that customer feels that the promise that they will get the right product, even if it is not met, that is someone is there to help them to make sure that they can give the product back. Daraz then opened up different outlets where you can return the product, get the money back, or actually get exchange your products as well. So insurance companies have to really focus on that, because now they want to work with aggregators like Insurance Bazaar, like Smart Choice, but that is not enough. They should be giving a product and service where once we have distributed the product, the customer should be served properly as per the terms and conditions, and we do not have to get involved each time for claims assistance or making sure that the claims are properly handled, or the customer services is up to the mark, or someone is picking up the phone and assisting the customer, because there are a lot of small things that happen and that can happen once you buy the policy. So I think things have really changed, but a lot of work has to be done post sales side, and insurance companies have to really gear up for this millennials and these new customers who really are demanding. They're no longer the ones who say, okay, I bought a policy online. They want this because you're signing them up for 1 year term, most cases. So they want that commitment for 1 year. What is going to happen after 6 months? Will you be there? Like, who will pick up my phone? How will you respond? Can I respond? Will you respond on email? So I think there are a lot of things that insurance companies have to do, but we have definitely come a long way.
Thank you so much, Sipten. And I think some of the words that I would like to sort of echo from there, as you rightly mentioned around customer services, when when you talk about ecosystems, when you talk about customer services, the moment you start building ecosystems, and this is what I believe in, the moment you start building ecosystems, you get to see the transparency in the processes that go out to the customer and to the insurance company and all the stakeholders in between. So the moment the transparency comes in, the customer services gets that push to to be better, or it gets to be high up on the radar for the insurers as well, because now the things are transparent. Unfortunately, transparency is a big challenge in the industry, which is the reason why companies, individuals, stakeholders can duck behind manual processes. And I think the same thing that Tahir Sab spoke about is extremely important, and that's to do with ecosystems. The moment you get ecosystems in place, things get to be more transparent. So using the same context, Omer, I wanted to sort of check from you, when it comes to Hello Doctor and the health industry and the health tech space, what are the kind of tech innovations you are bringing in on board, which are ecosystem friendly and also customer services friendly?
Yeah. So right now in the health tech, we need to provide customers the basic health, interaction with a doctor. And what we have done in Pakistan is that for the first time, we are directly integrated with NHS, in UK. And we are, directly linked with over 150,000 plus care pathways directly. So every customer who is going to call us, or we are, having an appointment booking with them, we are going to treat them in the same manner as a customer, as a patient who is being served in UK. And all our doctors are using a specific, system which is built in-house, and all they need to do is, whatever the patient is saying, they enter all the information, and the outcome, and the system guides them. What is the appropriate outcome, and what pathway do they need to follow? And the standardized services are essential, that it doesn't matter that a customer is talking to a Dr. A or Dr. B, all of them are providing with the same care and with the same approach, a better health services to them. A couple of more things that we are doing. We have built up a complete AI integration backend, and we can predict a customer when a customer is going to have a heart attack or a diabetes as well, over the course of like next 4 to 5 years time. So we again, Hello Doctor has partnered up with the NHS and one of their AI providers, and bringing those AI tools to the people of Pakistan. And currently, we are also developing a specific AI, a voice integration. Usually, when you launch an app or a online platform, not everyone can use it in an effective way. So what we are doing right now, we are starting off with Urdu, and obviously in the next few years time, we'll improvise Urdu with different dialects. A customer just needs to go to this mic on the mobile phone and say, "मैंने डॉक्टर से बात करनी है," and the Hello Doctor app will automatically fix that and communicates with the customer in a two-way conversation. अच्छा आपने बात करनी है, किस टाइम पे आपको बुकिंग करनी है, things like these. So right now we are in process of launching a small pilot in the next 2 to 3 weeks time, and the technology is ready. And I believe that with all these innovations and all these technological things, not only we are going to do something ourselves, but the people of Pakistan and other startups will also follow suit in this way. Pakistan is over 220 million population, and not one company can serve everything. So I think these innovations and these customer easiness and an immediate availability of a doctor with simplest way is going to help us.
Great, Umair. Thank you so much. And picking up on that, your area of focus in terms of health tech, I just wanted to reach out to Hisham yourself, for business opportunities like what Umair is looking into, what Zitain is working in. As an incumbent insurer, how are you working towards, addressing the needs of these different alternative distribution opportunities? Is it something that you are working on in the incumbent space?
Well, Numan, thank you. I think if we look at the tech space, what I can easily say is that most of the companies have now realized that without technology being part of their core distribution mechanism and part of the enabling environment for their agents, they cannot move forward. So I think the companies are quite steadfast now. At least top 10 players have developed they have developed applications. The claims which used to be quite a manual and laborious work, most of the companies now have end-to-end claim service where they have portals starting right from the car survey and goes up to the level where the check is produced for the customer. So I think a lot is happening both on the claim service side and also on the underwriting side, where to start off, companies enabled, especially COVID helped us in making the technology, in adapting to the technology. And most of the companies then started selling through the websites. So most of the companies now have their websites enabled for most of the consumer products like travel, motor. Also on the life side, some companies have their websites which are enabled. But again, what the question that you first posed was, is there still an end-to-end thing? No, it's still not an end-to-end thing. And we still work on islands. We still rely on different old systems. So again, what the right word would be to call it more of a hybrid model. Even if a policy is sold through the website, you have to enter the same policy in the core system, and then someone has to check, and it goes on like this. So I think still a lot needs to be done, but this this webinar and kind of the awareness sessions that we are doing at both IAP level and at the industry level, I think there is awareness which is there, and I hope that industry in next 2 to 5 years will be a much mature industry in terms of utilizing InsurTech.
Great, Hisham. Thank you. Tahir Sahab, I just wanted to, ask you, since you are, you currently in a sandboxing environment or have just completed that, tell us a little bit about the challenges you came across within, this sandboxing environment or the exercise for the benefit of everybody here on the forum. And what are what are some of the opportunities that you came across, they became visible to you during this time?
In reality, Numan, we had a lot of support from the SECB because they were very, they received the idea very well. And they said that we'll give you the regulatory support, you come on. And when we were talking, and now talking of early 2020, they, at that very time, they made up their minds after talking to us and listening to us that they will have these new rules. Because we said that if you want digital insurance to take off, then you can't make them work under the existing rules, which require a lot more paid up capital, a lot more reserves, and it's a different ball game. And for this, if you want other players to come in and you want to increase the insurance penetration, which can only be increased by actually insuring the individuals, then you will have to have different set of rules, which should be specific for digital insurers. And they started working on that, and within, I think it was late 2020, or perhaps June, July 2021, when they actually pasted those, they put up those rules, the proposed rules on the website. And at that time also we were engaging with them like the other people, but unfortunately we didn't find much participation from the existing insurance players. There was participation only from the likes of us and few others, just few others, maybe a couple of others. And but what I saw was that SCCP was very cooperative, very cooperating. They did not put any roadblocks in our thing. But what they emphasized was the transparency, something which we were just talking about. They wanted to ensure, and that was, by the way, our own we were also convinced that we need to be very transparent. We cannot afford to missell on a digital platform. So first of all, we ourselves, we told them that we will have for the first time, we'll have policies both in English and Urdu side by side. We'll have our FAQs, Urdu and English side by side, and the exclusions and everything will be very well, exhibited on our website. Plus, we said that the major thing of transparency comes when there's a claim from the insured, and for individuals, it's very important that the claim is paid very quickly. There is, there is no undue delay. So we said, what we did was that we said, if somebody comes on our website and puts up a claim, immediately, depending on the nature of the claim, the number of the exact documents which are required will drop down, and they will have to bring those. Survey pointed automatically. And we said, if you submit these claims online to the surveyor, then from that point onwards, the surveyor will be required to settle the claim or issue the survey report within 2 working days from the date of submission of the documents. I think the moment we did that, the SCCP was very happy. And of course, we gave a 14-day period for a free look, and we emphasize on it in the very beginning that you've got 14 days, and although they pay by credit card, debit card, or Jazz or whatever. And we settle the claims also, by the way, just not by checks anymore. We settle the claims by direct transfer to their Jazz accounts, or through Easy Paisa, or through their directly to their bank. So the process of check making and everything has been eliminated. So basically, the SCCP's major concern was RIT, that it should be good enough. The consumer journey should be very efficient. It should be very easy. It should be enjoyable. And secondly, there should be that much transparency, because now there is no agent to go who can answer their questions. So you have to have a very, very transparent policy issuance process, and also the claims settlement process. And I think we have been able to achieve that to a great extent. That was otherwise they were very forthcoming, SCCP. And I think probably they will be asking for new cohorts very soon. And if somebody wants, they can to come up with an innovative idea. What I've seen is that they will be very happy to accept it, because they accept one from insurance, one from the capital markets, one from from each area. So if somebody is working on something like that, they'll find that SCCP is very encouraging. They do not discourage you at all.
Great, thank you so much for that insight. But that's my observation on that note of yours is very much inclined towards the incumbent insurers, because they are the ones who are driving everything within the ecosystems in Pakistan, and the inclusion of their thought process is a very critical part of taking this initiative forward. And we've got incumbents on line today as well, and I think this is something very important for every one of us in this space, because it's the incumbents who actually can drive the initiative the right way, Otherwise, it'll probably be a big challenge for everyone who gets in. I mean, this is my own personal view, and I just picked up on that because it's very very important to highlight that. Going forward, September, we talked about, Tarsha was talking about the claim journey. Tarsha was also talking about some of the initiatives he has taken up within the organization to make the life easier for the customer. And you talked about the customer as well. So tell me, 2 years back versus today, do you think completely digital is the way, or it has to be a hybrid approach? It's a mixed bag between some manual work and some digital.
I think there is no straight there, but I wouldn't give a straight answer. There is a possibility of completely end-to-end digital. There is no doubt about it. I certainly believe in that. However, there are certain products that you need to build that can be completely digital. Be it looking at the benefits, buying the product, getting the claim, everything can be digitized. But there could be like micro products, maybe embedded insurance products, small ticket size, single event, where there is a single event and small severity is not high, frequency is not too much, but what a single event product can be done digitally. However, if you look at the ticket size of most of the other products, be it car insurance, be it health insurance for individual, the ticket sizes are quite big, right? So I don't think it can be completely digital. You have to have a call center in place to assist the customer, to guide the customer, maybe give them assistance on how to go about the claim process. Because the huge challenge is that, as Tai Saab said, me and we've also witnessed it, is that 70 to 80% of the customers who are buying for the first time. So they have very little understanding of how the everything works. And they have a lot of concerns. They have a lot of, like, every single stage they would be concerned. Oh, should I do this? Can I do this? Will this be covered? What does this term means? So there is a lot of lack of clarity on the customer side, which makes them not to do the complete journey digitally. I think we are far from that. We can get to that. If there could be a micro product, be an embedded product, yes, it can be done digitally, completely end to end. There is a room for that, but not for large ticket size products, because you are buying it once a year. You're buying motor insurance once a year. You're not buying it too many times. So if I'm buying from Daraz, I buy it like multiple times. If I'm ordering from Food Panda, I'm ordering multiple times. So I get that. I build that trust each time I engage with that platform. But I don't, these insurance platforms that we are building right now, aggregators, customers are still buying one policy a year or a two policy a year, until they don't get to that multiple policy, 5, 8 policies a year for different kind of things. I think end-to-end digital is not going to be easy to achieve. Yeah, that's because I say this because of my own as a consumer. I order food from Food Panda, and I know कि उनके पास मेरा credit card है, मेरा debit card है, मेरा address है. I just have to just press a few clicks, order a few things, and I'm through, right? And because there is so much frequency, I get used to it. But there is no frequency in policy unless we find a way to build that frequency. Then yes, digital can become real thing.
Great, great. Thanks a lot, September, for this. Umair, coming over to you. With COVID-19, and its impact on virtually every space that we are aware of in our lives, how has your company, or what kind of steps has your company undertaken to sort of address the needs within the health tech space? What different have you done within your space, keeping COVID-19 in mind?
So when COVID hits, Hello Doctor was among one of the few companies who opened up their entire channel for free for everyone, at least over the app and digitally on the helpline as well. And we provided the free access to the doctor for about 18 odd months. And there are still free users, like 35,000 plus users are actively engaged on the app. What we have learned from COVID, and what we are doing right now is we are bringing in AVA kiosk, a digital health kiosk, a state-of-the-art, a kiosk which is going to serve those people who do not have smartphones, because if someone does not have an app, what they are going to do. So we will be placing those health kiosks in pharmacies and different corporate offices. We've already placed two kiosks, one in EFU life insurance office and one in ASCII general office, and the response is quite amazing. And what we believe that what COVID has taught everyone is that now we are more open towards at least changing our lifestyle, even forcefully or now unforcefully, moving towards the digital side. We never used to order groceries by calling the general stores. This is what the people were doing when the lockdown was happened. So there is an acceptance, and I believe that InsurTech and health tech needs to merge together and create awareness and engagement. What Septan was talking about, that yes, once a year someone buys a product, and then that's it. What else they are going to do over the course of next 12 months? And I think that what we've learned over time is that we've launched wellness shows, we've launched cooking shows as well. There's a fitness trainer, there's a nutritionist there, and we want to engage with the customer in a way that yes, they will be coming back to us. And people are more open after COVID, and they are taking care about their health, their immune system. So it's not only about getting a prescription from a doctor, having a consultation with a doctor, or getting an insurance. It's now about their entire lifestyle, that they are actively working on it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Umair. Interesting observations there. Hisham, the most intriguing part for me, and I think I've got some idea, but I would rather you shed some light on that. Um, we're talking about digitalization, we're talking about change, we're talking about thinking out of the box, we're talking about new spaces, right? But what we are not sure about is the talent in the workforce that's going to deliver it. And I am very keen to find out from an incumbent space perspective, what do you believe the incumbents are working on to build the talent in the workforce that can help assimilate the changes that are coming around. So the likes of Smart Choice, the likes of Hello Doctor, the likes of any other InsurTech out there cannot really survive if we come across an environment that doesn't understand that change. So it's the incumbents who will have to sort of drive it. So I just want to understand from your side, because we are now on the other side, we just want to understand from your side, what do you believe in terms of building this talent?
Okay, Numan, first of all, to be very honest, unfortunately, insurance companies have not been able to develop a tech-enabled, as we call it, tech-enabled sales force. So most of the agents that we have, most of the business producers that we have, they are not much conversant with the latest technology, and especially when we talk about selling the products on the consumer side. The agents are actually not very well conversant with the technology, and hardly anything has been done on the insurance side, where we have been able to provide agents with a tool where they can sell insurance while going to a customer and just take that onboarding there and then. So except probably one or two companies, I think we have about 40 odd companies working in this space, but I don't think that that has been done. So I think a lot needs to be done on the training side of the agents. And I think we have this insurance foundation course that we have. The content is very light on the insurance side, and there's absolutely no content on the tech side. So we need to incorporate a few portions of IT there. We need to train the workforce on the digital side. We need to ensure that when they go out, the deal is there and then closed. And again, on the claim side, we as an industry have not been able to improve the customer experience, as we call it. So again, the traditional method of surveying is still there. It can be improved through video calling. It can be improved by a decision which can take place there and then. And at least the customer should have some difference. Should get to have some difference while lodging a claim, while he's in distress. He should have some sort of comfort that he can get the claim. He has got his claim approved there and then. So I think a lot needs to be done on that side. And insurance industry right now is working on some modules, but the effort is not very what I would call a focused approach. So individual companies are doing on their own, but there is no concerted effort which is going on, unfortunately, and it will take us a while to reach where we actually want to. So thanks.
Yeah, that's what I had envisioned as well, and I think you're absolutely right in stating that you've got some pockets around the industry where efforts are being made to train and to develop the talent within the industry. But generally speaking, you will find a big gap from that perspective, and this is primarily leading me to my next question for Tahir Saab. And Tahir Saab, obviously, change is driven by the top. You need the team to do it, yes. Change is always driven by the culture you set, the environment you set, and it's the leaders who do that. And you are a leader now in a neo-assurance space, which is all what we're talking about today. So you worked all your life as a traditional insurer and in a traditional insurance, I would say. So keeping what Hisham said right now in mind, how do you foresee building an agile culture within the organization that you are running today, knowing the fact that you hold the reins of driving this change?
Well, Noman, I think you made a very good point that in order to encourage digital insurance or for its spreads, it's important that the incumbent insurance companies play a very active role. And that is absolutely right, that observation, because they have the outreach, they have the brand name, and they have deep pockets, and they can do it much easier than a new insurer. But my experience, like what I is almost the same as what Hisham is saying. You see, in my opinion, we try to do a lot, but like I said, every insurance company in Pakistan has a business model which is somewhat alike amongst all the talking of non-life insurance companies. And by the way, they're working fine because they're profitable. They keep increasing their premium, not as much as the inflation, but nevertheless they do. So overall the pie is decreasing, but they keep increasing their rupee term. In rupee term, the premium keeps increasing. And they're happy because they get enough profitability out of it. The board of directors and the managements are not really pushed. What I saw was that same thing was happening to us. So what I did was that I took the digital department and put it on a separate floor altogether. And I took away the head of retail. I mean, head of retail was basically the head of digital. Okay, and I had one after the other non-insurance people running that department. The underwriting and claim support was provided by the company's departments, but the overall, the how to make it go forward, what products to introduce, how to service the clientele, that was left to the head of retail, that he makes a plan and he then implements it, and he should and his team should be separated from the existing, from the current insurance, because the culture is so different. The culture in an insurance company is making a 2-year plan or a 3-year term, or in our case, we even used to make 5-year, plans. And then, of course, we were flexible. They were all the time, we were changing them. But the digital thing requires flexibility on almost hour-to-hour basis. And that kind of decision making is just not there within the traditional insurance companies. So if they really want to play an important role, then they'll have to separate their digital thing from the existing company, put it in a different company to start with, have it manned by different people who will treat it more like a digital company selling an insurance product, not like an insurance company trying to become digital. I think that's where we have to change our mentality within the. That is why, when the new rules was put up on the website of the SECP, not a single traditional insurer made any comment. I was absolutely flabbergasted and bold. How's that? Because obviously, initially, no one is going to give them that competition. I can understand that, but still, they should have given some of their feedback that how digital insurance can take root. But none of them, not a single comment from them. It was just us and Digital Vada and some bit of contribution from Salam Takaful, but nothing came from the big names or the middle names or the lower middle names. Nothing. So this is what I think. You have to just separate it. The board should make that decision. The management will not. And the managing director should drive it. If he drives it, then it can happen. Because the board itself will. But they're happy making investment income. They're happy, increasing their premium every year, bit by bit. So the managing director, the management team has to convince the board of directors that we have got to be in it. This is the future, and this is how we're going to run it. We are going to run it as a tech company. This is what I saw. I saw an ad sometime back, about a couple of months back, maybe 3 months back, of HBL, but it's a huge bank. They said we are a digital company doing banking. They actually said it in one of their ads, although they are not doing it at all, by the way, because it's such a huge bank. In order for them to become digital and start thinking digital is going to the way their manpower is made up. They're all traditional bankers, and we're all traditional insurers sitting in the traditional insurance companies. So it's not the insurance company per se which makes that. It's the people within the insurance company who must make a change. Who are not changing.
Absolutely, Darsab, and this is exactly what I was referring to earlier as well. It's the leadership that drives it, and it's the will within the incumbent space that will help tremendously the InsurTech players as well. Because on their own, believe me, InsurTech players can do nothing on their own. They have to actually work with the enablement of the incumbent insurers. Because those are the those are the pillars of the industry who can actually drive this change forward, and having them on board is what we are hoping for and what we are praying for as well. And I think unless and until that mindset internally doesn't see the opportunity that sits out there, it'll probably be a few of the neo insurances then that'll drive the change. Because if you don't see it, then the wave of change is still going to come, but in a different form and fashion. So I think it's a very important point that you made. Sipten, I just wanted to come to you for asking your views on awareness. I mean, we've been talking about stuff that has to be done internally within the insurance space, insurance company. There's a lot to do with awareness out there in the market for the customers out there at large and the other stakeholders out there as well. So what is, your company, what is Smart Choice doing in terms of tackling one of the biggest challenges within this space, which is awareness?
Right. Well, the whole reason of building this insurance marketplace was to bring transparency, and the transparency obviously it allows you to understand a lot of things before you go ahead and purchase, and that's where even the awareness is all about. Awareness is all about understanding something and being realizing that there is a certain need that I should be fulfilling, and there is a certain risk that I should get myself covered for. And so with over a period of 2 to 3 years, about 3 million people have actually used our platform to get different quotations from our platforms for health insurance, for travel, for car. So we, at least I can say that 3 million people have seen insurance plans, understand what it covers, and in some way we've actually been helping insurance companies to generate business for them, because customers have come to our platform, they've understood everything, and then they have called up one of their friends and said, "You have insurance, yeah? I saw that this company is giving a good rate, and I think you work for that company. Can you give me a better rate or just match the rate? And I want insurance through you." And so we've been actually giving a lot of support to the insurance industry, and obviously it has happened vice versa as well. In some cases where insurance companies have given them a quote, they have come to us and understood what are the other options. So we've actually made it a lot of so on the awareness side, yes, we played a part. We've also made it accessible for mid-size insurance companies जिसके नाम लोगों ने नहीं सुने हुए थे या जिसका नाम बहुत ज़्यादा मशहूर नहीं था. We've also given them a space to come to our platform and offer their product and prove themselves, because if they have a bad name in the industry, or if they do not have a name at all in the industry, this is the chance for them to prove themselves. And I think this overall exercise in the last few years has allowed us to understand that these customers that we are bringing on our platform through different marketing channels and marketing acquisition channels, what we've understood is that there is a huge uh, gap between not the awareness side, but actually what the customers are expecting in terms of product and what these insurance companies are offering. And there's a lot of bridge that has to be has to be built, that has to be crossed, and that has to be sustained. So there is a huge gap, because if you talk to these young people who are buying insurance, if you ask them, would you about car insurance, and the first thing that they would ask you is that, why do I have to pay for the entire year upfront? Why can it not be monthly? And they would ask you questions about, how does the refund process work? What if I sell my car? There is a process, but nobody knows about it. Well, we make it very clear, and that's the awareness part that we play. But there is a huge misunderstanding, or lack of understanding, I would say, not even misunderstanding, but lack of understanding on the customer side about that. So I think there's a lot of demand for a lot of niche products that needs to be built for customers. Customers are ready to understand. I don't think customers are unaware, or they are too far away. The insurance companies just have to build the right product, reach out to them, use the right channels where they can find them, and give them some awareness. And I think financial literacy is where the issue is. It's not the general literacy. I think it's the financial literacy where that needs to be, a lot of work needs to be done.
Great. Thank you, Satyan. Umair, over to you. Satyan just touched upon some of the different types of products, to sort of bring to the market, to create some excitement in the market, and create a buzz, and then maybe a different market opportunity evolves. What do you think about the wellness initiatives in this particular market in Pakistan? And do you think that initiatives like these can work in Pakistan?
Uh, Obviously, things are going to take time, and we believe that if we are to bring any change, or if we are to bring any, lifestyle related to wellness to, implement here in Pakistan, it is going to take 5 to 7 years of time, minimum, unless we do it passionately, we do it wholeheartedly. We won't be able to bring the change in the country. right? What we believe is that yes, there is health if someone gets sick. Yes, if something happens to them, if they want to avail the insurance, they can buy an insurance. But there is also prevention, and prevention is obviously going to be with the wellness and well-being of the person. And we believe that we need to, not only our doctors needs to say, okay, what do you don't want to eat? We want customers to eat healthy food. We have nutritionists who are designing diet plans for the customers on as little as like less than 5 rupees a day, not only for them but for their entire family members. We have chefs who are going to create content how to make healthy food and how to change their eating habits as well, and the gym sessions and the fitness classes as well, to compensate those things. And these will take time. You need to drive awareness. What government is doing with the Sehat card is not only they are creating an awareness for insurance, they are creating awareness for health, and also they sooner or later there will be a time that people will be actively looking to stay healthy. And what we believe is that yes, there are things, but we need to do it in a meaningful manner. And obviously there has to be some collaboration. Again, not one company can serve the 220 million population. We all need to come together and deliver these things.
True. Thank you so much, Umair. Hisham, a quick question from you. I've got a last set of questions now, considering that we've got another 15 minutes to close. There's a lot of discussions around how we can add value to the value chain of insurance company in terms of cost efficiencies. Do you believe that InsurTech players out there in the market can actually help the incumbents add value to their value chains?
Numan, in fact, I think I touched upon it in my earlier remarks as well, that there is a lot of data duplication that is happening in insurance sector. So the data flows in from the bank in a format. It lands on a legacy platform. The data starts from the insurance website, lands somewhere, and then it is entered manually in the system. So these are all data duplications that are happening, and honestly, they are not creating any efficiencies, but they are just delaying the customer service. So I think InsurTech space, the most important thing that the opportunity that I see for insurance sector is again that end-to-end digitizing, the end-to-end digitization, which will help us in serving the customer better, in improving the overall efficiency of the entire system, in avoiding all these duplications, and avoiding all those redundancies. Because right now, again, those legacy systems have kind of plagued us, and we have to have some new systems in place. We need to have some more, as Tahir Sahab called it, that we need to have a different mindset altogether to improve the overall set of things that we are doing right now. So the cost efficiencies will come in as a result of investing in technology in the right way, in the right areas, especially on the claim side where the frequency is high, especially on the motor side where the frequency is high in terms of entry of documents. On the travel side, again, the number of documents are high. So we need to have some integrated systems. And I think the InsurTech space can help us in bringing all those systems together.
Sure, thank you, Hisham. Tahir Sahab, I've got a question from the audience which I want to club in with the question I had for you. We're talking about creativity here. We're talking about different exciting stuff that's happening. And the question one of the audience members has posed is to do with whatever we are selling right now is primarily based on traditional brick and mortar business products. Okay, and primarily it's driven by scale, and the scale is driving whatever efficiencies there are in terms of the business models. Okay, so like leasing business, like maybe group health relevant businesses, or life relevant businesses. So my question to you is, based on the observation by the audience, what kind of a new breed of products are you looking to bring in from the new assurance place, that will create a new opportunity or new market or expand the pie in the insurance ecosystem?
Basically, you see, first of all, there is a lot of space available even in traditional products in Pakistan. So one has to remember that, because when you're talking about staple products like the personal accident or personal health, family health, things like those, and motor insurance, there's a huge opportunity for such products in Pakistan. Now, talking of the new breed of products, of course, that's where the scale is required. And that's what I mentioned in the very first of my statements when I was making, that a new breed, a new products will come in as the business grows. For instance, when you're talking to your client, I mean, when you're engaging with your client in some way, you are going to get the feedback that this is what is required. That is one end of the thing. Second is to have 5-6 digital savvy youngsters, or maybe put them in a room and say, this is what we are selling. What do you think we can do with it? Can we add a new product or not? That is very much in my mind, to have not just an incubator of developing the IT or the systems, but an incubator for developing products. I think that's where the new ideas will come. I have spent a lifetime in insurance, and I know there are a lot of new products which can be brought out, but the best way is, we are selling product, in my opinion, we are selling product to the millennials and Z generation. I would like to have a handful of them, put them in a room, and give them a stipend or something during their holidays and say, this is what we are selling. What do you think you need? What do you think we can do with it? What other product can we bring forth? Because to think of a new product from your mind for the new generation, at least from my point of view, is not an easy thing. We should ask them. Now, one thing is we can go and have a survey done, market survey done, but when you're doing a market survey, Noman, what happens? People tend to give you answers which you're looking for. Because you give them multiple questions, they will, check one. And if you ask them to think, they will not do it. So the best thing is, get some people like, for instance, Siptan mentioned a little while ago that if somebody can bring about a product in motor insurance which is based on monthly payment, perhaps that is the type of questions he gets. Now, if our call center starts getting something like that, and secondly, the moment we start doing it in a more organized manner, this is in my mind, that get some youngsters who have had tasted this insurance in some way or the other, and ask them, you sit here for a month, come in the morning whenever you feel like, go back, and then whenever you like, you'll have your lunch, you'll have your tea with us, and we'll give you a small stipend to come, just like an incubator, and tell us what can be done, what new product can be produced by us. Because in insurance, mind you, the products will remain the same. What you can do with them is, you can either bundle them or unbundle them, or do some tweaking to it, unless until a new product comes in. A new product, I mean new consumer product, not of insurance but something else, and you need to make insurance for it. But again, that insurance will follow the normal product guidelines. I mean, a fire insurance, property insurance, or all risk insurance, or you call it whatever. Within that, all you bundle in the marine insurance, transit as well, and you bring a product. For instance, in Laminate, this is what Laminate is doing. They're bundling products for the renters. They're giving one product, which sort of bundle, but basically there's no new product. If you ask me, not a new product. Zongan, if you look at Zongan, they have come up with new products. I mean, but that's really not new product. The product which they are selling most is because it's part of the Ant group, the Alibaba group. So they are selling the transit of if somebody refuses to take the product which he has ordered on Zhonghan platform, then the insurance company will pay the courier cost. That is the single most largest selling product of Zhonghan, and they have become profitable only last year after 5 years of operation. Laminate hasn't as yet. They're still working on it. They're improving. They're increasing their revenue, but as yet they have not become profitable. Direct Line Group has, but then Direct Line Group's model is a little different. What they do is they normally team up with B2B. I mean, they're selling individual products, personal line products, but through businesses. And that's another way of selling. That when you're selling something which is not insurance, you add insurance to it. So we have to start thinking like that, in my opinion. To think of absolutely new product is very difficult. We can bundle, we can unbundle, we can add insurance as a part of the package, something like that, and that will continue. This we intend to do. Yes.
Thank you so much, Taisab. Just last 5 minutes with me. I just want to quickly come to Sipten yourself. We've talked about products again. This is a product relevant question, and I would request you a quick response on this. The requirements that you think can actually bring in business, like for example, short-term policies, for example, right, or any other new product-related idea. When you have gone to the incumbents, what kind of response have you received?
All sorts. You're too small. Why should we make a product for you? Some of them have said, yeah, we can think about it. I think those who have said that we can think about it are the ones who've actually gotten good business from us. Simply put. So if I've given them good business, I have a negotiation power. I can go to them and I can ask them that, let's build a product. But I think most of the mid-sized companies are the ones who are more progressive and more proactive towards this, or at least are ready to listen. Because I remember bike insurance was offered by Jubilee quite a long time back. So, and one of the things that I wanted to remove out of that bike insurance was the comprehensive part, because I don't think you need a comprehensive insurance. I think just theft is the most critical, element or the coverage that a customer is looking for in Karachi, especially. So I just went to an insurance company and said, I just want this one single cover, or two, total loss and theft. Can you make a product for me? And that insurance company said, yes, we can. What will be the volumes that you can give us? What will the process be? And they didn't agree on to change the process. We actually wanted to change the process as well. We wanted to go on a digital survey side of things. But they agreed at least on covering these two things, reducing the premium, the coverage based on the coverage. And obviously they had the limitations about which model of bike would be covered. So I think we also went through a learning process when we went to these insurance companies that we should go to them with a lot of understanding of the customer and what we need. If we can give them a good story and a good picture in front of them, and how is it beneficial for them and beneficial for the end customer, and so it's like a tri-party thing that you're doing. I think these insurance companies would be happy to build it. Again, I don't think bigger insurance companies are ready for that. It's mostly the mid-sized companies who are more aggressive. They want to increase their top lines, who want to come across at least as innovative, because bigger companies are already doing big business. So the smaller ones or the mid-sized wants to differentiate themselves by being innovative. So I think that's the response that we've got, and yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Sipten. Just in the interest of time, what I'll do is I'll just try to sort of summarize now some of the things that have been discussed for the forum, and for the benefit of everybody who probably joined late. So yeah, today's discussion primarily around ecosystems. There were discussions around products. There were discussions around transparency and awareness. And what we heard the esteemed panelists discuss was the fact that, transparency is the most important aspect within, the ecosystem, which helps build the trust and therefore building future business opportunities. Nevertheless, when it comes to digitalization or InsurTech domain, there will always be, a journey that the incumbents will have to sort of go through. It's not something that will evolve overnight. It's not as if you have a switch that you switch on and everything becomes digital. It's not going to happen like that. It will be a hybrid approach for the time, for at least for the near future. But one thing that's very important, and that's come up through the conversations today amongst the audience as well, amongst the panelists, is the fact that we're looking at the younger generation, which is less than 30 years, and that's around 70% of Pakistan. And honestly, and this is one of my strongest beliefs as well, if the industry does not look at that, opportunity that sits out there, you will see businesses going down in terms of volumes. Why? Because then you will have less and less to offer to the Generation Z that is being referred to on multiple occasions. And I think that's a very important aspect to take away from this session, that what are we doing, in terms of building stuff or offering stuff, or bringing, processes for that matter, customer service is relevant for that matter, right? That, creates the level of comfort for the next generation. We unfortunately are not doing much around that. There are only a few players in the market who are, bent upon changing stuff, but majority of them are just doing brick and mortar. So, with that, what I would like to take the opportunity for, it's for all of us in this particular audience. Thank you so much for giving us the time. I know it's not, the ideal scenarios in terms of technology intervention within insurance. But nevertheless, it's the right step. I've seen comments, in terms of the transformation within the industry. And if we were to sort of look at banking 15, 20 years back, this is where insurance is today. So have the belief system in there, and things will change. And we are the ones who will be driving the change, with the help of each other. So, I would like to thank everybody for being on this session. Thank you so much for joining us. And, with that, have a good day and thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Allah Hafiz ji. Allah Hafiz.